What's up everyone, Steve here again from RC Tanks and Trucks 24/7. Now check out this beauty. This is a full carbon fibre chassis rail rock crawler. Now it's based on the SCX10 chassis, so it's pretty much a hopped up SCX10. Now it's absolutely beautiful. Now I was interested in this because of it's pretty much no plastic. The carbon fibre chassis rail, as you can see, really nicely machined or nicely manufactured. The workmanship is really nice. So it's pretty much all aluminium and carbon fibre. Now, there is no real name to this. I was trying to look, I'll leave the link in the description when you go check it out and give yourself some more info, but there is no name for it on the Banggood website, although it does look very similar to TFL chassis. They make one extremely similar to this, so hey, maybe it's the same, I'm not too sure, but it does look very similar. Now what we're looking at here is, like I mentioned, it's just a basic frame for a rock crawler. Now it's very similar to the SCX10. It's pretty much exactly the same, I think, if you look at the measurements and all that kind of stuff. So it's basically a fully hopped up axial. So if I flip it upside down, you can see how nice this looks. Everything is obviously metal and aluminium. I like these metal drive shafts. They are telescopic, as you can see. I'm not too sure how strong they are, but probably better than the plastic ones you get in a standard axial kit. All these links, they're like a nice gun metal. I do like these red accents here and there, but it really is nice. It's got all metal steering linkages as well. If you look around at the rear here on the diff housing, how nice does that look? There you've got the machining marks and all that kind of stuff as well. It just looks really cool. And you do have metal coilover shocks and the real reservoir as well. This little red cap unscrews, and you can see down in there, you see your shock fluid as well. I really love these metal suspension mounts. They look really cool. Now you can get these as options for actual parts, so this might be a good option if you don't want to buy a standard kit and spend all the money and hop it straight up. This has pretty much got it from the get-go, and you can see the if I can kind of focus on the actual carbon there. There you go. So it's a layered carbon all the way through, so it does look really cool, kind of unique. That's what I thought. You know, I wouldn't mind having a look. Even this whole battery tray is carbon as well. Pretty sweet. It's obviously strong and extremely light at the same time. Now I like look at the front servo mount. It's directly on the front axle, and that also is a carbon mount, and also got little aluminium mounts on the side of that. So a carbon plate and aluminium mounts on the side. Now it does obviously include wheels and tyres. Now these tyres seem really grippy, quite soft as well, so we'll see how they perform later on, but it is a true aluminium wheel. They are true beadlocks as well, as you can see. Nice black outering there, but it does feel nice. I do like how they're aluminium from the get-go. And you also get a nice aluminium bumper in that same kind of metallic grey kind of colour there, and the toe shackles there are actual real aluminium as well, nicely red, and you get the mounts for it as well to attach to the front of the chassis as well there, but I'll put the camera up in the mount and I'll put those on later on. You also get another bag of accessories. You got the body post aluminium, body clips, some hardware, and a 25 tooth aluminium servo horn as well, and obviously some battery tie down straps. Nice red accent there as well. So that's basically you get with the kit. Now I needed a servo as well, so what I also got is a power HD servo. Now these are awesome. I run these in my G-Made crawlers as well. Now at 6 volts, these guys have 25 kilos of torque. Now even at 4.8 volt, they've got 21 kilos. Now they're bloody awesome. They're waterproof. They look really cool as well. They even got like a little crawler picture on there as well. They are really good servos. So they're low voltage, steel gears, obviously, waterproof digital servos. I'll leave a link if you want some more info about these, but I've used Power HD for a few years now in my crawlers, and I highly recommend them. Great, no, pretty much great bang for buck as well, and you get this cool little storage tin, which I seem to always use those. Now, also, I thought this would be pretty cool. I saw this, the Killer Body smoky exhaust pipe with LED. Now, I'm not a fan of the LED, but the smoky part I do really like. So we'll see if we can fit this onto this, because it's for a 1/10 scale cars. You normally see these on drifters and all that kind of stuff. So I thought, hey, why not? Let's put it on the crawler. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But it was fun trying to make it work. And also I needed a ESC and a motor. Now I had this lying around. This is a Hack Moto V2 540 brush motor. It's a 45 turn. It's basically a crawler motor. And also this Tritronic basic ESC. Now it can be used for crawling, which it is set up for at the moment, and it's LiPo capable up to 3 cells. So this is more than enough for this car, and I like it because this ESC should be able to fit into that little receiver box. Now that's basically it. Obviously you need a transmitter and a receiver, but we'll do it later on. But let me put the camera up in the stand and we can get started putting all this together. Oh yeah, one thing I forgot to mention, it also does include a pinion here as well, so that's super handy. And I believe it also does have the mounting, some screws to actually mount the motor to the motor bracket, which is pretty cool. Now I just undid this little receiver housing door there, what do you want to call it, and that should hopefully fit in there perfectly. It's got a little channel here for the wires. Now you might want to, I don't know, waterproof that if you really want, or you can maybe even put that externally on top of the receiver box. It doesn't really matter, because your receiver, because that does look pretty tight, even though I might just put the receiver in there, I'm not too sure, but anyway. So it does come with the pinion as well, so I'm going to put my motor in like that. Obviously it's going to fit in there pretty cool, and it seems to be able to access the two holes here to be able to adjust the mesh without maybe taking this off, but we'll soon find out. Let me get the screws that we need for the motor, make sure they're not too long, and go straight into the rotor there, but where are they? Okay, the screws for that were just, I think, 6mm. There's all stainless steel screws you get with them. No biggie. Didn't want to do it on camera. I was getting my head in the way. So basically mounted the motor in there like that, just so we can get into the state so we can slide it on. So we'll slide the pinion on, sorry. And that is doesn't really say what it is, but slide it on, you know, basic, when you get the correct mesh. I'm not going to bore you with that, but you know, if you haven't done it before, you can put a piece of paper in there, and once you get that kind of paper in there, do the screws up, and that should be a pretty decent mesh. But once you start doing it for a while, you notice by feeling it what it should be, not too tight and not too loose. So I'll just do that off camera. It also does come with the grub screws as well, which is super handy. It's actually got a few of them. It's got like 6. It's always good. Okay, now I've adjusted the mesh. Sounds pretty good. You can also feel it and stuff. You want a little bit of wobble room there, not super tight, because you know, this is metal and Spurgeon is plastic. If you put two together and it's too tight, one of them will melt the other, and it's I think the plastic is going to be better off. But that feels pretty good to me. Loctite's obviously on the pinion, and it's always, the grub screw is always on the flat side. Look, I don't know, some of you guys might be new. There's a flat side on the shaft of the motor. That's where the grub screw always needs to bite in. So that is that. Always have excess bloody Loctite on my bench, but oh well, at least I know what's in there. And we'll tighten this up a little bit more, not to round the heads off, but that's it. Motor is in. I like having the writing facing you here, but that's just OCD from my part, but that's it. Motor's in. Feels nice and good. Obviously when it gets going we can hear it a bit better. We can always adjust that later on down the track. The ESC is super simple. That might go in there. If not, I might put the receiver in there, and that can just go on top, because this is waterproof, so no biggie if it gets a bit wet. How about we hook up the Power HD Servo? Now there it is there. It's pretty cool. It kind of looks like a Jeep. But really cool servo. All metal housing or aluminium housing. Nicely chamfered, as you can see. Looks really cool. Now that's going to go in the front of the crawler, just like that. Super easy, and as you can see, mounts to the front. I do like it on the front of the axle like that. There's room for clearance. There's no hang-ups issue when that's in there. I'm pretty sure we'll use the same. I think there's like 6mm Allen head screws. Oh, hello. Focus. There we go. That's as simple as that. There's no hard part about installing a servo, but because it's going into aluminium mounts or metal mounts, we always want to use a bit of Loctite on there, just in case it doesn't back out. That's the worst stuff, or the worst thing that happens. You're out in the field or out playing, and oops, always, every time it just spits out. But yeah, worst thing, you're out in the field and you have to stop because of a screw backed out, especially in the grub screw. That's so annoying. And sorry, the grub screw backs out in the pinion gear or something like that, and then you just, yeah, super frustrating. We've all done that, we've all been there, but yeah. Oh man, it's so hot. I think in every video I've said that lately. It's so hot here, currently in Australia. And I'm in my garage as well, and it's like there's no real ventilation, so the air just goes, it kind of gets stagnated and just stays in here. And I reckon it's about, the other day it was like 50 degrees in here, I reckon. What's that, 110 Fahrenheit? Not fun, but I wanted to get some videos going. So there we go, I'll just put 2 in, I'll put another 2 in as well, but those holes line up perfectly. I love when things just go together as they should. So that's in there nicely. Okay, now I put the servo horn on. It's 25 tooth, same as this Power HD servo, and obviously you want to make sure it's centered before you put all this on and lock it away. Now I've put some Loctite on that as well because it is metal to metal, and there we go there, really nice. And these metal servo horns normally have another screw to put in there to lock it, to kind of clamp it down. So I'll find that one and I'll put it in later on as well, but that looks pretty cool. Now, because it's center, this guy should just pretty much line up, where am I? Right in there. So I think we'll use one of these longer screws, and we can just pretty much push it all the way down in there and thread it in there. And you have to double check though, because there's not much clearance from here to there. You can see there, that actually hits. It actually hits on the front of that diff housing, ever so slightly. So what we need to do, we might need to pack the servo out so it's protruding a bit more forward and give us some more room here. Okay, my trick was use those little rubber spacers that you get with a servo, just to pack it out about 1 mil or 2, and that's all you need just to push it out. Now put these put the screws back into the servo and connect it all up. Should be just enough room. Okay, now I mounted the screw to hold the horn to the steering linkage the opposite way, so I thread it through this way because it was just binding and it just gave me enough room anyway to fit the little lock nut on. But look at that, everything is clearing just enough. Now you don't want to tighten these down too much, otherwise you squash the little rubber grommet, but if you have Loctite on there, let it dry and it won't come out anyway. So that is the steering all hooked up. A lot of steering angle on that as well. Now if you look up like that, yeah, look at that. That's some solid steering angle and no bondages, nothing like that. So far so good. Next step, that dog next door is going crazy, but anyway, that's looking good. Now hooked up the servo and the receiver just to make sure everything works and it's got full travel. It certainly does. I'll have a spare Fly Sky receiver and one of these FS GT3Cs. These are awesome. I've got like 3 of them. They're so good. So there we go. Full movement each direction, no binding, which is nice, and everything is going nice crawl, and that does sound quite nice. Not too tight, but yeah, so far everything is good. Now I'm not too sure, I won't be able to get everything stuffed in here, so it's just going to be the receiver is going to be in there, and it might be beneficial because some of these wires as well got to go in there for the little smoke unit. So I'll hook all of that up. Now the receiver, sorry, I keep getting confused. The ESC can just sit on top of this box later on. It is waterproof, like I mentioned before. And that is that. All the electronics are hooked up. Happy with that servo. Very quick as well, so it's all centered. I'm happy with that. And once I put the wheels on, you'll see how much throw it's got. So it's really cool. Next step. I might get the wheels on, get all that sort of where it needs to be, and yeah, move on. Now I've got to show you these as well. These are another accessories that you get with it as well. These nice little decorative hubs for the wheels. They go on the outside once you put the lock nut on. So obviously they just go here, just on there to make it look really realistic. And you also get the aluminium hexes there, to mount on to the wheels, because let's do that now. I'm not going to run the camera for that. Super simple aluminium. You just put them on and then we can actually screw the wheels on. Easy as that. And as you can see, it's got go full left and right for me, Zach. It's got heaps of movement there. Really nice. Nice throttle response too. Everything's just hanging in the wind here at the moment, but so far so good. Looks good actually, I'm liking it. Now I've also, I haven't come in yet, but I've got these magnetic body posts for this. That, you know, it's like, I think I have the G-Mate on my drift as well. No need for the body posts to come through the actual Lexan body, it looks more realistic. Now I've got them coming, so I haven't got the body for this as yet, but this is how it's going to be looking so far. Now let's clean up, this is just, I'm not going to be using this battery, this is just to test everything works. It's a 2-cell LiPo anyway, so it's a good indication of the performance, but super powerful steering servo, that's awesome. Happy with that so far, so let's clean all this up and then we can actually get to trying our hands on this killer body smoke system. Now, forgot to mention, we've got to install this nice aluminium bar. I got these 2 rods that are they go into the front here and they screw in with nice 2 stainless steel screws. Now, you want to put them on a little bit loose so you can move these a little bit, because what happens, this has got to go into the front here and you've got to make sure these holes are facing up. So you can screw in your little screw here straight down into the top. Now you want to, depending on the body you have, you can push this in, pull it back or whatever you want. So I might just do it halfway, put that in there, lock it away with these little grubs and then lock them away, and yeah, then we can do the smoke system. Okay, so here is a killer body. This has been around for a while, it's not exactly new, but I've seen it, it was on the website, I thought that looks pretty damn cool. So basically it's just going to be an element burning oil. That's basically what the smoke system is, and it's called exhaust oil, special oil for smoky exhaust pipe. So that's pretty cool. You get your little makeshift cannon looking exhaust. That's plastic, and internally in there is a small little LED. Now I'm not too sure if I'll be using the LED, I'm not a big fan of that. I don't know if you can switch it off or on, but there is a little power system, a few cables, more cables, some 3M tape, bracket, some other stuff, and cool instruction manual, because that's always going to be handy. Now I'll put this together and so you know how it all works, but pretty simple stuff. Okay, now I just tested it all, see how it works. So this is a little compressor, and depending on the throttle it modulates and gives you more smoke. At idle you see a little bit coming out, give it some full throttle you see more coming out. I'll show you when we plug it in. So basically what we've got here, this goes to your balance port for your LiPo, so you can plug your power in for the car and your balance port plug into here for the little compressor. So what you need to do, you get these wires with the kit. This one's pre-installed. This guy here plugs into this particular port, and that is for the power, that goes to your balance lead. This other cable here, so what it needs to do, it needs to tap into your throttle channel, so 1 to turn, 2 to burn, so channel 2. So what you do is basically this guy, the male is going to go into the female here, just simple as that. You're going to have 2 wires left, so one of them is going to go into, as you can see, into the back of the unit here, just like that, and the other one is going to go back into channel 2 for your receiver. So that's basically all hooked up. Now you have an empty port here, and that's for your balance lead, so I hook up the power to the car, just like that. Transmitter is on, happy days. Now if you hook up the balance lead to this guy, you'll notice that here it started pumping up. I haven't actually added any more oil, that's what's in it from factory. Okay, sorry about that, I had to get my son to help me. So if you give it some gas, son, you'll notice full gas. See, more comes out. Now if you leave it at idle, it goes back down. You can see the little compressor going on. But yeah, give it some more gas. Let out. There you go there. So you can see it comes out pretty sweet. Try that again. They go back to idle, and you can see it just kind of smokes away. Got that little red LED in there. I'm not sure if you can take that out. Give it some full gas. There we go. So I might need to fill up the little chamber there. But that's basically all there is to it. It does smell quite nice too. So I'll hook all that up, and Cool. I forgot to say, if you don't want this on, you can just disconnect the balance lead from this guy and it'll still work. You can still have throttle. Okay, got everything where I wanted to. Double-sided taped the ESC and the switch up top here. Little compressor of the smoke units, just cable tied to the side. I might move it around later on. I just wanted to get it down and put it somewhere just so it's not flapping around in the breeze. Here's the little exhaust I put, just mounted it up here. Comes with like a little bracket. Now, depending on, like, same as with this, I might move it around. Depending on the body I get later on, I might position that later, but I just wanted to put it down there just so it's out of the way. Easy to hook up once I put the battery in here. For example, this one, you can just hook up you can plug it in obviously to turn it on, and then you can just hook up this to the ballast set if you want to smoke. If you don't, just don't plug it in. So, let me get a 2S battery. I'll do a little run video just without the body, and yeah, that's how it works. Alright guys, so just out here, just had a little run, just want to test it out. Unfortunately the smoke oil ran out, so it didn't last too long. I only filled it up, I don't think, it's really hard to get that little funnel in there to fill it up, so probably only lasted a minute or so. But I have to fill it up and it lasts a fair bit, 1 mil or whatever, lasts a while apparently, but I probably didn't get it in there. But anyway, performs pretty good so far. Bone stock setup, obviously doesn't look cool crawling without a body, but I just want to get it out and just test that everything works. These tyres are grippy as hell. I might change up the suspension a little bit to make it a little bit softer here and there, but it handles really well. This setup ideally, if I just move the camera, obviously this isn't the best spot to have the smoke generator. I might have it up a little bit higher, just so, because when you're crawling it's going to hit on things already. It's got a little bit of a scratch there, but anyway, who cares, no biggie. Just want to test it out, but so far so good. Everything seems to work really well. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? Any questions? Leave them down below. Obviously, next video I'll hopefully get a body for it. But I don't want to go normal Jeep style. Everyone's got a Jeep, so let me know in the comments what you think, what body would work well on this. It's a standard axial size. Everything's the same wheelbase, and the width and everything's the same as a normal axial. So let me know what body you guys recommend. Something a little bit different, maybe even a hard body. Maybe even 3D print one. Maybe you can 3D print a body with separate panels type of thing. I'm not too sure, but here comes the wind. Here we go. Anyway, that must be a sign. Appreciate you watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Any questions, please leave them down. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't, please subscribe and hit the notification bell for more videos. But that's it from me. Let's do some more crawling, and I think I will get a body for it. Cheers, guys.